All right, this is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. And today where I am, I'm in the city, man. I'm in the city of Oakland, California, Oaktown. And where I am today, I'm here in West Oakland to share with you guys a cool project that's going on here, or that's growing on here. It's actually called the West Oakland Farm Park. And this is a public park with and it's a home of the City Slickers Farms. So this is a unique farm in the sense that this is a park, but it's not a publicly owned park, actually. It's basically a privately owned, publicly operated park. It's known as a POPO. So this is a new concept. I don't know if they're around the country, but here in California anyways, they have these now. And so it's operated like a park, but it's a real farm. So it's a private property, but they operate it as a public service, partly. It actually, in the front section of it, they have a public park. So they have restrooms and barbecue and seating area, place you could hang out, green space, as well as a little kids area. But in another part of the park, actually, they have a community garden area, so for the local residents to grow food if they don't have access or space to grow their own food, as well as a farm in the background there, where actually they grow food and make the food available for local people at low or even no cost. So with that, what I want to do for you guys next is actually take you across the street to the City Slickers farm and the farm park and show you guys around. So now I'm going to go ahead and enter the farm park here. And when I first saw this, because I looked it up online before I came here today to make a video for you guys, I had heard of City Slickers Farms. I mean, back in the day when I started gardening, actually, on a big scale at my home, because they've been around. They're an organization that's actually been around for quite some time. But I looked it up like, wow, they got a public park that's actually growing food. This is cool. I got to check it out and make a video to share with you guys, what I believe other municipalities and other cities and other places should incorporate, into their cities, places to grow food for the public to hang out, and more importantly, to get education about how food is grown, where it's grown, and more importantly, especially for the kids, right? And also being able to provide access to food to the local people here, because in this area in West Oakland is a food desert. There's liquor stores, they might sell a few produce items, but it's probably wilted and old at that. Here they're providing a really good food on a sliding scale to the local community. But aside from just the food, they're also providing them a fun. They're providing a public park where kids could play football and play on the grass, and people could come hang out and sit and eat their lunch in the nice sun, and actually even kids could play on the playground. So let me go ahead and show you guys maybe the playground area of the park, and I'm gonna maybe take a little fun break. So in this area, the farm park is actually like a park for kids, right? And that's really cool. It gets the kids out here. They're having fun, like playing on the little playground sets and little, I guess there's a little like farmhouse play zone area, and all different kinds of different structures for them to climb on, as well as like park benches to have a nice picnic. And the farm park is, has green space and all this stuff. So that's really cool that the kids could come out, but not only when they come out to play on the swing sets, right? They could also see on the other side of the park where the food comes from, and that's the part of the park that I'm actually more interested in at this time. So let me go ahead and flip the camera around and show you guys what the farm actually looks like here, and the community garden, because I really want to share that with you guys. And I mean, that's really why, this is all interconnected, this farm park. It's a farm plus a park, and I think this is an idea whose time has come, and I believe every park in the nation should have a farm component in where food comes from. And through different partnerships, the City Slickers Farm has been able to do this. And hopefully at the end of this episode, we'll get to explain to you guys maybe how this project was possible here in West Oakland, and can be possible hopefully wherever even you guys live. So you guys just saw behind me the little kids area where kids could play in the playground set. But if we pan this camera over a little bit, you can see some of the green space behind me here that I'm moving, and there's this nice green space area, and then behind the green space you can see some of the little structures. So that's a structure with the bathrooms and some offices and whatnot. And then over on this side, they basically have a full-on farm here, and then on the other side of the buildings, there's actually the community garden. So maybe I'll start this tour for you guys actually at the community garden site, since that's actually quite impressive. It's probably one of the best designed and maintained community gardens that I've seen, and I think there is a reason for that. So the next part of this park I'd like to show you guys is actually the community garden part, and this is one of the nicest community gardens that I've ever went into. The park is actually only open from like 10 to 7 every day. Maybe in the wintertime they close a bit early at dusk. But the community garden actually has 24-hour access to a coded gate, which is really nice. So even if you live in the local neighborhood and you want to harvest some of your stuff at midnight, you could feel free. So let's head in here and show you guys around. So now I want to share with you guys actually a few reasons why I think this community garden is successful, where maybe other ones that I visited may have not been. Number one, they provide raised beds. So I think this is critical in a community garden, you know, have pre-built raised beds that people could rent out the whole raised bed or half of it. These raised beds here are quite long, maybe like 20 feet long, and they basically partition out half of it, so maybe like a 10-foot by 4 feet section. They have it built out of nice lumber here, like some, I think it's like 2x12 stacked up, so it's like 24 inches tall with some 2x4 on the top, so you can actually have a nice place to sit down, work on your bed. This next thing is they filled it up with some good organic soil, some of the same soil they're actually using on their farm to grow successfully. Next thing why I think it's successful is infrastructure. Is they got, actually, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a little water timer there with a spigot. So there's a spigot on each bed. With each bed has its own water timer. So every person that rents a community garden bed has its own water timer that's pre-programmed to go off and do the watering. So this takes a lot of the guesswork to make sure that even if you don't show up, your plants are going to get watered and you're going to be able to come back and harvest some stuff. Now, all these infrastructure features are really good and probably a really strong reason why this community garden is successful. But the other important reason is every Saturday they have, you know, a person here that was volunteering that actually educates the people here about gardening and how to do it properly. So this is super critical in having proper training and education for the people that have community garden plots to keep them interested, keep them coming back, and ensure that they're growing successfully. I think another really big component that I don't know if they have or not, but they should, is, you know, teaching people how to use their food. Walking through this community garden, I see a lot of stuff growing, and a lot of it's growing really quite well, but I'm not seeing the level of harvest that I would like. I'd like to see some of these plants getting harvested back significantly more than they are. I mean, you don't want to harvest things too much, but you don't want to harvest them too little, because then they're more like an ornamental and they're just looking pretty, instead of you actually harvesting the plants and then getting them into use so that you gain the nutrition out of these amazing fruits and vegetables that are being grown. This time of year they're growing mostly like you know, leafy green crops, which, as you guys know, my YouTube channel is called Growing Your Greens, and it's called Growing Your Greens for a reason, because I want you guys to grow, but not only grow your greens, but I want you guys to eat them too. Every day my goal is to eat 2 pounds of leafy greens. I don't accomplish that goal every day, but usually I get a pound under my belt. And you know, it can be really easy to get a pound of greens under your belt, whether that means you're gonna be juicing them up, you know, and a pound of greens juice turned into only 1 cup of juice, which is hardly any juice at all. You could be blending those up into like a green smoothie or a blended salad. You could also just simply be eating the greens in a nice salad. And one of my favorite things to do now is actually juice a lot of vegetables, make that as my vegetable soup stock that I blend up with some nuts and spices in the blender, and then cut up a whole bunch of greens and add it to the soup. So pretty much it's like a salad, but it's a salad swimming in the salad dressing, which I call my soup, which is all vegetable juices mixed with blended nuts and spices and seeds and whatnot. So yeah, definitely want to encourage you guys to use more of your greens, and hopefully you know, they'll use more of their greens here, because I mean, some of the growth here is phenomenal, but the harvesting could be better. Anyways, this is the community garden. I think the main tour that I want to give you guys today is of the farm itself. So let's go ahead and take you guys into the farm and share with you guys some of the things they're growing, and more importantly, how they're growing it, and also how they're creating fertility on this land that was actually once a paint factory and once had to go through a whole kind of like soil reclamation because the soil was contaminated and all this kind of stuff. So before I even give you guys a farm tour, actually I want to share with you guys what they do with some of the produce that is grown here. Every Saturday they have a farmer's market. I think it's like maybe between like 10 and 3 or something like that. And so it's Friday today, so they just actually harvested all the stuff that's going to be appearing tomorrow at the farmer's market. And the cool thing about this farm is that actually, you know, the main goal is not to like make a ton of money from selling the produce they grow on the farm, but it's to create basically a local and just food system so that people in the area that may not have the most money to be going to Whole Foods and paying those whole food prices for some good collard greens or kale or other crops they grow in the summertime, they could have access to the food here. So the food here is actually on a sliding scale. So if you're here in the area and could come down to West Oakland on Saturdays, you guys could benefit from the sliding scale. So the sliding scale is like this. It's like 1, 2, 3 is their sliding scale, right? If you're like totally broke, don't have any money, could barely afford food, hey, you could pay $1, you know, for a whole bunch of collard greens here. And if you got more money but you're not super rich, hey, then we'll pay $2 for the same, you know, collard green head. And hey, if you got a lot of money, you know, then you could come here and pay $3 for the same collard green bunch, or you know, same bunch of red Russian kale or whatever else they're growing. Now you might be thinking, John, why would I come to this farm in the middle of West Oakland to buy a $3 bunch of collard greens when I could go to Whole Foods and buy the same collard greens? Well, let me correct you for a second. You know, a $3 bunch of collard greens at Whole Foods is not the same $3 bunch of collard greens you're going to get here at City Slickers Farms, because you don't realize that the collard greens at Whole Foods might have been picked from the Central Valley several days before you were buying it. It's been in cold storage for a couple days, finally got put out on the shelves, and now you're finally buying it. So while it may be the same price, right, it's not gonna be the same quality. You know, this stuff is picked the day before it is being offered available here, so it's gonna be much fresher. Plus they grow all organically without any kind of chemicals and all this kind of stuff, so you're gonna get a lot fresher tasting, more nutritious, better quality food by coming to the farmers stand here they have every Saturday. Plus you're supporting an organization that is doing good work in the community. Because the other thing is, if you absolutely don't have any money and you could just basically come here and you know, get a whole bunch of the greens or other food for free here, because this is totally a sliding scale, and definitely, you know, making money from the community is not the main goal of this farm. You know, a bigger goal is to provide just food and provide access to healthy food for the people, because it's my opinion that, you know, the healthier a community could eat, you know, the less the healthcare costs and the better the community will be, the better they'll be able to act, function, and think, and the more, I like to say, enlightened people will have by eating more healthy plant foods. So yeah, so what they have, or they'll be offering tomorrow, they got the red Russian kale, they got the dinosaur kale, got more dinosaur kale here, some collard greens, lots of Swiss chard, and of course, you know, some of my favorite stuff, they got a lot of the purple tree collards there. So what can you learn from what they're offering here at their farmers market or their stand tomorrow is, if you live in this area, you probably want to grow the tree collards and the Swiss chard, because they have a lot of these greens available. And you know, when I show you guys their gardens, you'll see why, because the Swiss chard and the tree collards are the two crops that are growing the best here by far. Of course, some of the other things grow really well, but you know, the easiest crops to grow are the ones I want to encourage you guys to grow, which are these two guys. And pretty much in this environment, they're gonna thrive year round. So you guys could pretty much always feed yourself and your family the tree collards and the Swiss chard. So this is the main entryway to City Slickers Farm here. As you guys can see, they got a huge rain barrel that's catching lots of water off the top of the roof, and they use this to feed the crops. One of these days they want to get a solar panel and have a filtration system to make that catchment water safe for drinking, which is definitely really cool, because then it's not even the city water that they're pumping in chloramine and potentially other contaminants such as fluoride into. That's really cool. And then behind it, they have actually a little garden box. It's actually called Let's Build a Backyard Garden. And this is how City Slickers, besides growing food here, they actually go out into you know, low-income local housing areas and community centers and whatnot, and they actually build you guys a garden, whether you're paying for it full price or if you're low income, then the price is subsidized by the local county, which is really cool. So you could grow in your own backyard instead of having to come and pick up your food here, which I think is the answer. and they're growing a bunch of different crops in that little sample bed. And then over on this other side, I'll flip the camera around, you guys can see their little plant nursery where they're starting all their little baby seedling plants that will actually end up in the farm here, or one of the garden beds that they actually install, or actually even just a local people that want to come by on Saturday and purchase some of their plant starts. So this is a little nursery area here at City Slickers Farms. Basically they grow everything in big 10 by 20 flats in their little greenhouse so the seedlings can stay warm. Once the seedlings grow up, they basically pluck them out and then they put them into little 4-inch pots, and they have lots, like hundreds of baby plant starts here. Different collard greens and kales and peas, nasturtiums, onions, artichokes, all kinds of stuff here. And once again, you know, aside from just buying the food here that you guys saw a little bit earlier, you guys could buy the plant starts. And once again, the plant starts, they're on a sliding scale too. You know, you get them for $1, $2, or $3. And if you don't have any money, maybe you could even get them for free, right? So you could start planting your own food, right? And so I think it's much more valuable to me, instead of buying a bunch of tree collard greens, to just get a tree collard plant. And they got tree collard plants here, these nice little tree collard plants. These ones were planted, I don't know, maybe just like a month and a half ago from cuttings, and they look nice and healthy. These are actually, well, there's some, they got stem cuttings and top cuttings. I like the top cuttings a bit better. But as you guys will learn a little bit, the most valuable plant that they offer here is the tree collards, to me anyways, because literally you plant this baby once and you're gonna have collard greens for years to come for sure. Whereas you know, a collard green up on the top here, flash collards, right, the same collard green right here, you know, the value of this plant is not as much. This one might live maybe a year or something, 6 months to a year, provide you leaves for that whole time. But the tree collard is gonna grow and grow and grow and grow for years and provide you with leaves all during that same time without going to flowered seed and ending its own life cycle. So yeah, definitely really cool that they got the tree collards and they do all the propagation here. So the next thing I want to do in this episode is actually go ahead and take you guys over to their compost pile, where they're using a multiple source of input waste streams to create compost, which adds fertility to their farm so they can actually grow the produce they're growing. So now I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit about how they make their compost here. You know, compost is the main source of the fertility for all the crops that you guys are going to see in their field grown crops here. So number one, they basically get mulch from the city. The local city here drops off the mulch. Looks like a lot of pine and leaves and wood chips. Then actually back over there, they got another pile of just more straight up wood chip compost. And then actually over here, let me go ahead and show you guys some of these, because I know you guys might have a lot of this kind of waste that you generate all the time. So City Slickers Farms has partnered with many different cafes and restaurants in the area to basically get their food scraps. So they got all kinds of different food scraps, including, you know, clippings from their farm here, but also food scraps in here, potato peelings, mango peelings, eggshells, all this kind of stuff that they actually collect. Instead of having this go to the landfill, they divert it here to basically compost it and turn it into compost that they then sift out and add to their garden. Let's see, they got so they got like 2 different kinds of wood chips coming in, the food scraps, and they got one more major waste material that they're taking in here to turn into soil nutrition. So their last input to their compost pile is basically what we're seeing right here. It's horse poop. So they have a local farm that has some horses, and they basically get the horse poop and they mix all these ingredients together and let it compost down in a bin style system to basically get it broken down and to create fertility for their soil. And here's a little sifter they made that they just basically take this and they shake out all the little small material to actually add to their garden. Now, you know, I think their soil fertility program is great, and this is old school farming or gardening, is, hey, add compost and you don't pretty much need to add anything else, right? And, you know, basically from my background, and I only got into growing food because of my failing health. I almost lost my life when I was younger, and one of the main reasons why I grow food is to have the highest quality food. And as much as I agree with that local food, local organic food that's not sprayed is definitely higher quality than the stuff coming in, why not make it even better? You know, I've run into many people along my travels and along the way, and I ran into a gentleman one time at the Mother Earth News Fair who really was strong into, you know, adding the trace minerals into the food to change the health of the public, and especially in low income areas where there's not all the resources and people are eating a lot of junk food. It's super critical that people have the trace minerals, because it has been shown, and there's a correlation with certain diseases such as type 2 diabetes with certain mineral deficiencies. And if using, you know, input waste streams and food scraps as some of your main inputs, you may not be getting the full spectrum of trace minerals out there, right? I like to add rock dust, adds up to 70 different trace minerals into my garden, into my compost, so I could grow healthier plants, and more importantly, I could get those trace minerals from the foods that I eat, right? And that's how it should happen. And in processed foods and industrial agriculture, they're concerned with maybe 3 minerals, right? And so that's why I think it's very important to add something like the rock dust. So if they were to integrate rock dust, you know, I would take 1 or 2 bags of rock dust for every bin of the compost they make. So now you would take all the different inputs and the rock dust, couple bags, mix it all in, and get it integrated, break it all down at once, and then basically take the finished compost and then add that into everything that you're growing. This, by far, in my opinion, is going to grow a higher quality food to change the health of the community much faster than just simply growing food, which is still healthier than anything else you could eat. But why not make the already healthy food even healthier? Another really excellent way to add the trace minerals in to the fertility program here is by spraying on ocean minerals. So I would recommend a product called Gropal, Gropal, and spraying that on a weekly foliar feeding of all the plants as well as the ground area, to add up to 90 different trace minerals, right? And the health of the nation is basically based on the food that we're eating. And if the food is the junk food, the processed foods, right? These are very low quality foods without a lot of nutrition. But yeah, homegrown organic or even farm grown like this, organic is good, but hey, let's make it better and add the trace minerals. Unfortunately, most commercial farms are not adding the trace minerals, so I hope that you know, City Slickers here will start to add the trace minerals. It really isn't that expensive, and it's going to provide a much better benefit for the community, but also for the plants, right? It'll make the plants more bug and disease resistant the higher quality food you grow, and by adding the rock dust and trace minerals, you can also do that. Another thing, as much as the compost has a lot of bacterial action, you know, is really important, I would also encourage them to compost their wood chips. They have lots of area here, and they're starting to lay out mulch everywhere, which will basically slowly compost over time and make some fungal dominated compost. To encourage them to get as much mulch as they can in all the areas of their farm. Just have it fully mulched. And as that mulch breaks down over the years, you're going to come back and scoop out the bottom layer, and that's going to be a fungal dominated rich mulch. And that, once again, is different than a bacterial dominated compost or a fungal dominated compost that is going to make, and then add that to your soil as well for fertility. Those are some of the most beneficial things, as well as things like compost teas, you know, that can be sprayed to increase the bountiful harvests that they're offering. You know, by adding and adding some of the trace minerals and compost teas, they could basically shorten the time for production, so they could actually grow things to a larger size much faster, and of course have more of the healthy food to feed the community. So they're growing 2 main things. The vegetables are just one of them, and of course the other ones are the chickens. So I want to give you guys a really short segment on their chickens and how they're doing it a little bit differently here by observing nature. Tick, tick, tick. All right, so anyways, as you guys can see, they got a little chicken house here, and actually this chicken house is like one big square, and this one big square is divided up into 4 smaller squares. One of the squares is a little laying house area. One of the squares is like in the back. It's kind of just like maybe dirt area. Then one of the squares is actually like a dusting area, so like they actually go in there and just kind of roll in the dust or the dirt, which we'll explain in a minute. And then this area is basically where they basically put down a whole bunch of like weeds and scraps and compost and whatnot, and that's where the chickens get to just dig through, grate it all up and pick through it and eat whatever they're going to eat, find little bugs and worms and stuff to eat, so that's really cool. And so the farmer here actually learned a lot of stuff by actually just observing the chickens, right? He saw that in the morning the chickens would all line up in a row in this side of the pen, And that's because they want to get the morning sun. And my dog likes to do this too. He likes to go out and get the morning sun. So he created a little roost here with a pole so they can actually just sit on the pole, so more of them can sit in the sun in the morning. So I think that's really cool to, think about the care of your animals and how can you make their lives better. None of the chickens here are used for meat production. They're all used for the egg production. And so they feed them regularly the feed. Actually, they're going in for the night. I think it's getting kind of late for them. But yeah, they're used for the egg production. And so the main uses for the chickens on the farm here, number one, egg production. And number two, they're turning up this compost faster to turn it in to the compost that's going to go out in the farm because it helps to break down a little bit quicker. Now, another thing they're doing that's really cool by observation is this other bed over here, which actually I want to go ahead and give you guys a close-up on because this is something that I believe everybody that has chickens should be doing. All right, so here's another area of the chicken pen here, and this is just one of the squares. I think most of the chickens have gone in for the night. It's getting a bit cold now. But basically, this is an area where they have like a lot of different fine sawdust, maybe a small like wood chip materials. They also mix some diatomaceous earth in there. And this is basically the dry pen. So they keep this area dry. And the chickens, when I saw them earlier, they were just kind of like rolling in here, rolling the dust, rolling the dirt. And it looks like they were cleaning themselves off, or I don't know what they were doing, but it looked like to me that they were having a really nice, fun time here, rolling in the dirt here. They also have the water area where they could drink some water in there as well. And I haven't really seen this at any other farms. Most of them just have an area where the chickens live, maybe a house where they could lay the eggs, but they don't have any spaces like this where the chickens could maybe relax, right? So I really like this, how they have different areas of the larger pen that are all connected with the, this little center box, that they could go into any of the areas they want instead of being confined into any particular one space in there. And in addition, they're going to expand this out, so they're going to have like a little free range area that they could actually, get onto the ground and, even explore and venture out further. So I want to encourage you guys, if you guys do keep chickens, right, you want to give them as much space as you possibly can to roam around in, right? Like your dog would not be likened to live in just like one of those little dog crates their whole life, and neither would we like to live in a 10 by 10 small room for our whole lives either, right? So give them a lot of space and give them different areas, something like this too, so they could be happier chickens. So the next part of the video I want to share with you guys today is actually the farm area of this property and how they're growing here in West Oakland. And I think the one thing that strikes me that's most important about any successful farm or garden or backyard garden is setting it up properly and having the right infrastructure. So first off, I want to go ahead and give you guys a close-up shots of the infrastructure and how they set this up and how you guys may want to set up your backyard or your farm to give you guys a higher probability of success. All right, so now I want to show you guys some of the things they're doing here at the farm to grow the food. Number one, on this bed anyways, they got some mulch down, so that's going to protect the water evaporation. Number two, as you guys can see over here, I don't know if you guys can see that, but they have basically 3 drip lines going down each of the beds, and they have like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe like 5 rows of crops going all the way down. And in this bed, they actually have the fava beans, and they have the dinosaur kale. In this bed, looks like they have some onions planted with some collard greens. And so yeah, they have the automatic irrigation system that they could tap off their water catchment that you guys saw built in. That's number one. Number two, they have the mulch. Number three, they actually have basically wood chips here in the pathways, as you guys can see. I'm sitting on them. And then basically they have basically raised up beds, so they basically mounted up the soil. It's probably about, 8 inches high off the ground level. And it's probably about like, 18 to 20 inches wide. So basically I have raised beds without the sides is what I like to call these guys. And they're growing in, the good rich compost that you guys saw a little bit earlier with all the drip lines. And yeah, I mean, everything they plant looks like it's doing quite well. It's getting kind of dark, so I think I have time for maybe sharing with you guys maybe a handful of my favorite crops they're growing here. And then maybe we're gonna have some time to do an interview at the end of this episode with the director. So the first crop that I want to share with you guys today, and I would encourage you guys to grow, are these guys right here. As you guys can see, they got the Swiss chard by far out of this whole farm that I've walked through today is growing the best. They got many different outcroppings of the Swiss chard, and it all looks like it's doing really well. I mean, I've seen some of the maybe brassica family of plants, maybe some of the kales and whatnot had some aphids, but you know, no aphids on the Swiss chard here, and I didn't see any leaf miners here either. But yeah, definitely you want to grow some Swiss chard, one of the easiest to grow. Now, in this community, in this specific area, one of the challenges they've had with growing the Swiss chard is actually not growing it because it grows quite well, but it's getting the public that would consume it to buy it and use it, because they're not quite used to the chard. They're really used to the collard greens and other kind of brassica family plants. They like those plants, but the Swiss chard, a little bit new and different for them. So, you know, for me, I like to use the Swiss chard and juice up the stems, which actually makes a nice tasty juice, as well as juicing the leaves themselves. But yeah, you could cut up Swiss chard and eat them fresh and raw in salads. You could also ferment them and even turn them into green smoothies, which is one of my favorite things to do with the baby leaves. And when you guys harvest and you guys are growing them yourself, harvest the young little baby small leaves for your personal consumption for salads, and harvest the larger leaves, you know, for juices and smoothies and for other preparations in your kitchen. So besides the collard greens that they're growing a lot of different other kind of greens. I mean, I don't have time to share those with you guys, all the different kinds. They got like fava beans here, lots of fava beans growing, and you know, I forgot, you know, that you could eat a few fava bean leaves here and there. They have a really nice flavor. I probably wouldn't eat like a ton of these guys, but you know, it's fun to add a few to a salad or whatnot. But one you would want to add in a salad in a large way are these guys right here. This is known as the Shinguku, or edible chrysanthemum. Kitazawa Seed Company here in Oakland has the seeds for this. I would recommend you guys to grow these guys. I mean, look at this. This is one plant. It's like 2 feet tall. There's so many different greens on here. And this leafy green tastes like no other. It doesn't taste like collards. It doesn't taste like kale. It doesn't taste like Swiss chard. It doesn't even taste like lettuce. It tastes totally unique and different. To me, it actually has like it reminds you of kind of like eating flowers plus a little sweetness. I mean, you guys just got to grow it to eat it. It's an Asian green that may be available at a local Asian market near you, but hey, why buy it at the market when you guys can grow it yourself and it grows so well? I mean, look how well this plant does without any kind of pest damage or anything. Yeah, one of my favorites. I guess I think I have time for sharing with you guys one more crop that they're growing here that I would encourage you guys to grow. So the last crop I'm going to share with you guys on this little small tour of the farm here today is actually what's behind me and to the side of me. And as you guys can see, they got a big, large patch, and this is like, I don't know, I think they got like a couple raised beds, 3 raised beds of these guys, which are the purple tree collards. Now, especially in the wintertime, the purple tree collards get really quite good and quite tasty. The cold weather causes them to be more sweeter, and that's a good thing. So the collard greens taste sweeter. Plus, the other thing is that they grow year round. As you guys can see, you know, these guys have this farm has only been in existence on this property here for maybe like 8 months. And in the 8 months, some of these guys are pushing 3 feet tall at this point, and they're literally leaf producers. These green and purple tree collards are leaf producers. They'll keep producing leaves day in, day out, year after year, month after month for you guys. So that if by far you only make the investment in like one plant, you want to get a purple tree collard plant, and they do have them here available. You know, even if you have a apartment or balcony or condo, this is the one plant you're going to want to have, because you can just have a few plants in a few pots and it's going to grow a lot of leaves for you guys to eat. The tree collards are in the brassica family plants, which have properties known as isothiocyanates or phytochemicals, and they can be anti-cancer as well as anti-diseases. Yeah, so I think that's about all the time I got for today for the tour. But what I'd like to do next, sit down with the executive director, Rodney, of the City Slickers Farms and interview him and ask him and learn more about the farm here, and maybe even how you guys could start your own farm nonprofit like they're doing here to serve the community and provide you know, just food system and local food for community members, and plus grow a lot of good food too. So now I have the pleasure of introducing to you guys Rodney Spencer, the executive director of City Slicker Farms. And I just spent literally like the last hour or so with Rodney. He's a great guy, so I'm glad he's on the show today, so you guys could learn more about the mission of City Slickers Farms and even maybe how you could even duplicate something like this in your area, because it is so important. So Rodney, the first question I have for you is, what's the mission of City Slickers Farms in the first place? I mean, it surely isn't to make a profit on the farm here, as you guys saw earlier. Like the price they sell this produce for, they ain't getting rich, people.
Yeah. Our main goal is to help members of our community have access to fresh produce. And West Oakland, where we've been located since 2001, is still a food desert. We're here for the food justice aspect of things. We want to help people grow their own food. We want to teach them the importance of eating healthy, nutritious food on a regular basis. 0 grocery stores in the neighborhood. We have 53 liquor stores, and very few of them sell any produce at all. And what produce that they do have is not very fresh, not very healthy. So our goal is to just give people access. So we have a farm stand every Saturday morning. It's on a sliding scale for our neighbors who don't have much money. We don't want them to leave empty-handed. So we're open for business, and like you said, we're not here to make money. We're here to provide access. We make money in other ways, and we really try to keep our costs low, so things, food shouldn't be as expensive as it is, especially organic food. If there's no chemicals, no pesticides, why does it cost more? So we're really just trying to level the playing field and teach the importance of healthy, nutritious eating.
Yeah, I mean, it's great here, aside from just growing the food and offering it to the community on a sliding scale. They're even going the next step beyond that, and which is what I would encourage you guys to do, is they're empowering the community to grow their own food, with their backyard program that you guys learned a little bit earlier about. We'll have Rodney share more about that. They're teaching people how to grow the food themselves, so they don't even have to show up at the farm to buy their food, so we can learn how to grow food. And I think, it's so important in this day and age that we're all taught how to grow our food. And, the City Slickers is even working with local schools to get the kids involved with all this kind of stuff. So do you want to share real quick about the backyard program you guys got going on, where you build a raised bed that's even subsidized by, the city?
Yeah.
Or the county?
So yeah, we're one of the programs that we've been known for in this neighborhood is the backyard garden program. And essentially what we do is we work with an individual family. We'll go to your house, we'll build 2 raised bed gardens, we'll put a trellis and a fruit tree and a variety of different vegetables and herbs in your garden. And with that, you get 2 seasons of support, 2 years of support. We come out every season, every 3 months, to help you learn how to harvest, do pest control without using pesticides. We teach you how to do soil amendment. And we teach you how to cook the food too. So we really want to do this wraparound support. And over the past 15 years, actually 16 years we've been in this neighborhood. We've built over 300 backyard gardens for individuals, and we've built close to 100 backyard gardens for community groups like child care centers, low-income housing, and senior housing. So we're really proud of that. I'm actually just returning from a build today. We built 2 raised bed gardens for senior community, and we gave them bok choy, lots of lettuce. We grew snap peas, a nice variety of things. We always grow collards and kale and chard, just because here in Oakland we can kind of grow that stuff year round. I think the most exciting part of that for me is when we arrive and we build that bed and we start planting. The neighbors are so excited, the community members are so excited, because it's a new beginning for them. It means it gives them a level of freedom, it gives them a level of control over what they're eating every day. And a lot of community members tell us the same thing. They would eat better if the food was accessible and if it was affordable. So we're really making that happen for people. And as it relates to the educational piece, I personally believe if you can really get children thinking about their food, helping them understand the importance of what they eat at an early age, they will grow up with that appreciation and live with it. I was telling you earlier that I grew up in a poor neighborhood, but I had no idea that we were poor because, my grandmother's backyard looked like the farm. We had lots of fresh vegetables, we had fruit trees, we had grapes, we had everything right there at our disposal. So eating was never an issue. And I grew up appreciating vegetables, and I think because of that, I'm almost 49 years old and I feel like I'm 29 years old. I'm out here every day, I'm working hard, and I can outwork most 29-year-olds that I know. So I really feel empowered knowing that all those years when I really, as a kid, I really did hate working in the garden. But it was a part of our family, so I have a deep appreciation for it. Now I love it, and now I'm instilling it in our community, especially with the young kids that we work with. On Tuesday afternoons, we have a high school group that comes by every Tuesday, and they have a project that they're working on. On Wednesday afternoon, we have an elementary school group. I work with them on a daily basis, but on Wednesdays, they come to the park so we can do a cooking activity. We have a cooking demo kitchen here, and we're teaching them how to take this food right from the farm, clean it up, prepare it, and have a good meal with them. On Thursday afternoons, we have a middle school group that comes through on a regular basis to do different projects. Some of it's working in the garden, some of it's doing some construction projects. We're teaching them how to use the tools and build their own beds themselves so they can do some of these things at their own home. So we really feel strongly about passing these skills on to the next generation, just because somebody's going to have to grow the food when I'm no longer able to do it. So I want to make sure we're leaving that legacy to our children and the community members.
Yeah, I mean, that's super important. We're running out of farmers, man, so I'm glad you guys are actually taking the time to watch this video, and maybe one of you guys can be a future farmer. I mean, you could do it even if you don't have a lot of acreage, right? You could grow a farm on somebody else's land.
Yeah.
OPL, other person's land. I have a video on that with Curtis Stone, so check that out, where you could actually just use space from your neighbors that aren't growing anything in their space, and maybe even it looks terrible because it has weeds coming up. But I think another thing that's really important that Rodney talked about is to have access to the food, but not only just have access to the food, but have access to good tasting food. I mean, who wants to go down to the local grocery store and buy some kale that's been shipped in from California? I mean, we are here in California, but still, it might be a week from the time it was picked from the fields. And as kale gets older, let me tell you, man, it starts to taste nasty.
Yep.
And if it's fresh picked, man, it's so much sweeter, so much vibrant, so much healthier to eat, and it just tastes better, and people are gonna like to eat it better. So I think that's a critical point of all this and why you guys should grow your food. Now, I know some of you guys may be thinking, man, that guy Rodney, he sounds like he's got a dream job, man. He doesn't got to sell the produce for money. He does these cool installs. He gets to work on this farm all day. Where does the money come from that made this farm possible? And if you guys wanted to start one of these, how would you even get funded for all this? So Rodney, what's the answer to that more complex question there?
Sure. In a way, it's a dream job. In a way, it's a nightmare, because ultimately we make very little money off the food. We are a nonprofit organization, so we do rely on community members, individual donors, foundations, grants. So half of my work is going out there finding funding for the work that we do. I love it. I feel passionate about it. It gets me up in the morning. But like I was telling John earlier, now when I'm having a conversation, I'm always looking for an angle to talk about the work that I do and how you can help. Whether it's in-kind donations, it's cash donations, or just coming to volunteer. I mean, that's how we make this all work. Every Thursday and Saturday, we have groups that come out to help us out. On Fridays, we have a group called the Allies. They're like regular volunteers. They're developing a skill, and they're learning from it. So they're giving back by being here every Friday to harvest and wash the food and get it ready for the farm stand. And then we work with corporate groups. We actually invite corporate groups to come out. Not only do we ask them to work with us, we also ask them to give us money to work with us too. And it often helps out. So all jokes aside, this is a passion for us, and we do what we have to do to make this dream happen. So, if you are in a position to come and help us out. If you're in a position to send us a check, if you know someone who really likes supporting this kind of work, let them know about us, just because, you know, we've been around for a long time. And my goal, my dream is to put us out of business. And what I mean by that is when all the cities, all these urban areas that have this kind of opportunity to do this in their own neighborhood, we're not needed anymore. When our communities have grocery stores with fresh fruit, even if it's a small market, with fresh produce that people can afford, my job is done. When you are at home and you are growing things in your backyard, you're looking at shows like John, you coming to places like us and you're learning how to grow your own, my job is done. You know, I really want us to get to a point where we're not needed in the neighborhood. We're wanted. You know, this is a place of education. You can come here and learn, but you also have the tools and the resources to either get the food on your own or grow the food on your own in a normal way. Like I said earlier, I grew up poor, but I knew where my food was coming from. It was coming from the backyard. And I'm hoping that over time, we're starting to see the importance of knowing where your food comes from. And as John was talking about earlier, we pick our food on Friday afternoon, we wash it, we sell it on Saturday morning, it's on someone's table by Saturday afternoon. It's fresh. And there's nothing like fresh food. And the more people we get involved in creating their food, I think the better off we're all going to be. Our health is going to be better. I actually think our economies will be better because people will be saving more. They won't be spending all their money on food. And they're going to be saving money on healthcare costs, because most of the healthcare problems that we are seeing today are problems that we're causing ourselves. The foods that we're eating, are the foods that we're not eating are really causing those problems. And we really look at food as medicine. You know, if I have a headache, I'm going to go drink some turmeric tea or something like that. I'm not going to go to the medicine cabinet for aspirin. And I think all of us need to start thinking about that and really kind of going back old school. My grandmother never gave me medicine off the shelf. It was always something she cooked up herself. And I think we could all benefit as a society once we start doing that way of life again.
Wow, man, that moved me. Hope it moved you guys as well, man. And a few comments I had. So number one, if you all are on food stamps or whatever they call it, EBT these days, you know, not only can you buy food with those food stamps or EBT, you can actually buy plant starts and seeds.
Yeah.
So, you know, grow your own food with the food stamps or with the EBT instead of just buying the food, because guess what? When you plant the tree collards, like you guys saw earlier, that could feed you for years, whereas if you buy a bunch of collard greens, that feeds you for like one meal, right? Number two thing that I want to mention is that I want to put myself out of business. I don't want to make these videos anymore for you guys. You know, I want everybody to be empowered to know how to grow their own food so that I can just stop making videos for you guys. And let me tell you, my girlfriend should be much happier because I spend more time with her and less time making videos for you guys when that's not the favorite thing that she'd want me to be doing in the world. So, and the other thing I'd like to say is that I would encourage you to support the City Slickers here. If you guys have some extra money, or even more importantly, live in the area, you want to come learn on the job. Learning on the job, you know, aside from watching my videos, is the best way to learn how to be garden. They got composting here, they got chickens, they got, you know, they're growing all kinds of different things. They're propagating the tree collards. Yeah. You could learn so many different skills actually with on-the-job training, how to harvest things. Hey, you even need to know how to harvest weeds properly sometimes, because they might be getting fed to the chickens or just put them in the compost bin, right? But yeah, so volunteer sometimes. You live here in the Bay Area, especially in the East Bay, super convenient location to get to. I would encourage you guys to, you know, check them out.
Come get your hands dirty.
Oh, so I wanted to, you know, corporate sponsors. Let's talk about some of the organizations and companies that have sponsored you and help you guys out to make this place what it is today. And as much as, you know, I want people to become their own producers instead of consumers in our society, you know, the fact of the matter is we live in a culture that you know, is what it is right now, and we need to make it better. So hey, we could use some of these you know, corporations to our advantage when they're going to help out the small guy and do the right thing with their corporate profits, which I think is definitely really good.
Yeah, well, you know, we have some really awesome partners here in the city. Clorox is a big partner with us. They come out and support the activities that they do. We get a grant from them on a regular basis. Cliff Bar is another really awesome partner. Cliff Bar, they have 2 or 3 different groups within Cliff Bar that come out on a regular basis to help out, to just do some hard work with us, to build things with us. We're so appreciative of that. And then we have partners who do things like Lowney Architecture. I'll send you an image so you can put it in this video, and it'll show you kind of the blueprint of the park. And under normal circumstances, a blueprint design like this would cost tens of thousands of dollars, but Lowney Architecture did it for $1. And that's just, things like that save us so much time. They save us so many resources that we can put back into the farm. So those are 3 that stand out. But all of the organizations in our neighborhood, you know, we have John who works for Drake's Beer. I won't mention his last name, but he's gotten our name up to the higher powers up and Drake's, and they're big supporters of ours. Now they just did the East Bay Brew Fest a couple of weekends ago, and we were the beneficiary of really generous donation from Drake's Brewery. So we really are appreciative to all of our corporate partners. And it really doesn't matter what the size of your gift is. You know, with many hands make light work. So the more people that are given small really adds up. So, you know, you don't have to be a big corporation to help out. Your $10 helps out. Your 2 hours of volunteer service helps out. Your knowledge helps out. I can tell you that I've spent the last hour and a half or so with John. I picked his brain just because he's a teacher, and I'm still a student. I've been doing this kind of work.
I'm still a student, man. I'm here learning from you.
Right.
You're learning from me.
You never stop learning. Yeah, and I'm a teacher. So again, I actually go to an after-school program every day after I leave the farm, and I work with kids, and I learn so much from them. So when you come out to volunteer, you're amazed at how much you're actually giving to us. You're giving us new knowledge, you're giving us new ideas, and you're really giving us new inspiration for the work that we do. So it's not just about the money. Money helps us pay the bills, keep the plants growing, but the support all around is really what makes this an inspiring job. It's an inspirational day when I can work with children, I can learn from adults, I can get my hands dirty, and then I go to bed knowing that I have helped some family, some person have better access to really healthy food, and I think a better life in the long run.
Wow, yeah, I mean, being the change in the world that you want to see is super important. I want to encourage all you guys to do that. I think another thing that's important for me to mention in this video, Rodney, is not only all the corporate sponsors, but let's talk about the city and county and state governments that actually has made this possible, this park possible.
Yeah, so we live in California, and you know, California is a really progressive place. We have a proposition that was approved many years ago. We applied for this back in 2010. It's called the Proposition 84 grant, and what it does is provide for urban green spaces. You know, in a place like West Oakland, for the last 30 or 40 years, it's become very industrialized, very few parks, poor soil, poor air, poor water. So what the state decided to do was to create this pool of money so we can recreate the beauty that once was California, so we can rehab this land. You know, so the land that we're sitting on was once a paint factory, and then it became an auto parts dealer, and then it became just an abandoned piece of land for 20 years. Wow. And the soil was so poor, we had to do, I think, almost a 2-year rehabilitation or remediation of the soil just to get it back healthy again. So we proposed to the state of California that we would purchase this land, we would turn it into a farm and a park. So it's one of the first examples of what's called publicly operated, privately owned property. So we call it POPO for short, but We operate like a state park 7 days a week. The farm is only open 5 of those days, but you can come, you can bring your family. We have a beautiful playground, which is donated by Kaboom, another big corporate sponsorship. So that was one of the biggest volunteer days. I know this is a side story. Great volunteer day. Kaboom gave us probably about $100,000 worth of play equipment, and we partner with PG&E, who provides us with power and gas, electricity. They came out in probably about 200 people, and we put that playground together in one day. Wow. So yeah, I know, John, it's on the videotape that you're seeing, but that's another great partnership. But back to the question. So that state partnership allowed us to purchase this land, and this land is forever farmland. We can't sell it and lease it and make anything else. So it's always going to be a farm, a playground, and open green space. Another big partnership that we have is with the Alameda County Health Department. We partner with them to make sure senior centers, low-income housing, and child care facilities that are in food deserts have access to this food. So I just came back today from a senior center over in East Oakland. We built about 48 square foot of garden space for them with a trellis. We took over about, I think, 36 different plants to grow, some pollinators, some herbs, but a lot of leafy greens, just because that's what the community wanted to grow. And we get paid through it's called a AAA. I forget the acronym, but it's really to support senior centers. You know, these places that are full of people who, you know, I think generationally used to be farmers. You know, when you're looking at people who are in their 70s and 80s, most of them growing up, they were, you know, growing their own food. I know my grandparents grew their own food. And, you know, so this is a recent thing that everybody's depending on grocery stores and markets for their stuff, man. So this community is so happy to have this again. They're enclosed in this facility, but we're bringing that to them. So this year alone, we're scheduled to build about 20 different sites in a variety of places, mostly senior centers, but here in West Oakland, we're building in all of the elementary, middle schools here. I think that's one of the really critical parts of getting people thinking about their food and creating healthy habits early is in the elementary and middle school. So, so the County of Alameda is a really strong partner in that effort to make sure those gardens get built in senior and child care centers and things like that.
Wow, yeah, so I mean, it sounds like without the partners, like this project really wouldn't have been possible and wouldn't have been able to be done. So, you know, if you guys are thinking about starting some kind of project, hey, California, it's probably a good place to do it because they still probably have money in that same proposition to do this exact model in other areas. And now that they got this model going, they know it works. You could duplicate this in other poor areas and other areas that are food deserts to provide, you know, not only good food, but more importantly, education and turn the health of the community around. Yeah. So Rodney, you know, if somebody maybe wanted to start something like this, do you guys serve as an organization that somebody could come to and say, hey, Rodney, how did you do that? What should we go through? Because we want to start one of these because we believe in, you know, local food and healthy food and access to healthy food and, of course, nice green spaces for all.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we're the experts on that subject just because it was a lengthy process for us. We started this project back in 2010 and we opened the doors in 2016. So my first piece of advice is like be really patient. Not because it's not important, it's just the wheels of bureaucracy are really, really slow. But they do turn. So you know the community is your best resource. So as we were doing this, we're City Slicker Farms is a really small organization. It's 5 of us. I'm the executive director, and I have 2 people that are working in the field and 2 people are kind of doing some administrative work. So it's a very small team of people on our own. So when I talk about partnerships, I really mean partnerships. So when this idea came about, we partnered with a group. We created a council. It's called the Farm Park Council, and it was comprised of neighbors who were interested in seeing what was going on here. And that's the power of community, folks. It's like nothing that we do are we doing it by ourselves alone. We are really trying to get as many people involved as possible, because you never know where that next really good idea or the support is going to come from, or the breakthrough. You know, as we are working through this process, some members of our park councils, they have connections, they know people in different places, they know which offices to call. So that group of people helped us navigate all of those channels. So I would say, if you're starting a project like this, really surround yourself with knowledgeable people who are passionate about this project that you're working on. And I guarantee you that you're going to go faster and you're going to go further with that additional support. The other thing that I think really helps out is trying to partner with an agency of the city or of the state. You know, with us in the city of Oakland, we have a group called the Oakland Food Policy Council. It's led by a young woman named Shanice Alexander. She's incredible, and her job is really looking at how policies affect what's happening in communities. So when you're trying to fight injustice in the food system, you really need a partner at the city level who can really elevate your message and your mission up to the levels that need to hear about it. So working with the Food Policy Council, it gets us the recognition of the city. It gets them thinking about policies that need to shift to help this to work. You know, one of the policies that we were really able to help shape was there was a restriction that landlords could prohibit people from growing food in their yards, you know. Yeah, it used to be, yeah. So we were able to really get that policy changed and get a more relaxed kind of culture around urban agriculture, so more people could share in this. So it's like it doesn't have a real impact on the park itself, but it helps the entire community understand why the situation is the way it is. So having a partner like that was really valuable. And then also really working with the health department. You know, we have an incredible health department here. Their needs are really on the ground. They're looking at projects like this that are helping people. It's called direct service. You know, when we think about government and how funds are allocated and how people are really getting the resources, our county government has really figured out that nonprofits, I mean, we are on the ground day to day working with people in direct service. So we really are, I think, the best eyes and ears for the county to understand what's going on in the community. So having them as a partner and doing the work that we're doing helps the entire community improve, health situation improve over time.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that the healthier you guys eat, the healthier you're going to be. I mean, Rodney talked about a little bit earlier, you know, some of the top diseases of today. I think it's like the majority of the top 20 diseases today are directly influenced because of the foods you're eating or the foods you're not eating, yeah. Right? So, you know, what I like to encourage everybody to do is eat more fruits and vegetables. You know, the majority of my diet is fruits and vegetables, and even if you don't want to make the majority of your diet fruits and vegetables, you need to eat significantly more than the average person. There's a study that just came out over in Europe. I think they said, you know, if you eat 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, you're going to get the maximum benefit from the fruits and vegetables, and they recommend maybe 5 servings a day, 5 to 9 or something, but they said 10 is the best. But I say, why stop at 10, right? Yeah. Eat even more. I mean, that's why I eat as many fruits and vegetables. So, Rodney, I think my time here is coming to an end, but I want to ask you maybe like 1 or 2 more questions. So like the next question is, you know, from working on this farm and being here day in, day out, like what's one tip that you would share with my viewers that you think could help them out, or just one of your words of wisdom that you'd like to share with everybody watching this today? About the work that we do, or just in general? In general. No, man, that's a tough one. You know, and this has really nothing to do with food necessarily, but it also has to do everything with food. Is what pushes me is I have a passion for the community, and if you're not in a community that you're passionate about, move right now. Pack up your bag, quit your job, and find a place that you can be passionate about. I am not a native of Oakland. I came to Oakland back in 2007 for a vacation, and I found myself moving back.
in 2008. And I haven't looked back, and I'm passionate about the community. I started here volunteering in the schools. I was fortunate enough to be able to take a little bit of time off, and in that time off I started volunteering in the community just because it felt like a community that I could contribute to. Not that they needed my help, but it was a place that I felt passionate about, and that passion just continued to grow. Shortly thereafter, I was part of a team that founded an elementary school here in the neighborhood. And through that school, I started volunteering with City Slicker Farms because my students just didn't know where food came from. And I felt like, hey, let's go down the street. I can show you exactly where food comes from. It does not come from a liquor store. It comes out of the ground. And that just kind of kept fueling the passion. And ultimately, I became the executive director of City Slicker Farms. However, I did not sever my attachment with the school. So after a full day here, I go over to the elementary school and I run the garden and nutrition program. And after that, I just go home and pass out. But I'm able to do that because I am so passionate about the community that I live in. It's a very diverse community. They're rich, they're poor, they're black, white, Latino, Asian, and I love them all. They love me. We feel the love. And that's the other thing that I want to say is that everybody is welcome here. You know, we are a country of immigrants. We were all refugees at one point, and this is perfectly apropos at this moment for me to say, you are welcome at City Slicker Farm. We don't care where you came from, and we don't care where you're going. If you share the passion about supporting people in your community who want to contribute to the community, regardless of where they're from, regardless of what they look like, regardless of how much money they make, this is the community for you right here. And I'm passionate about that because that's what drew me to this city. Is that I saw people from all walks of life, from all nationalities, getting along, sharing, supporting one another, and that's what's going to make our entire world better. But it starts in your community. You can't go out there and change somebody else's mind across the country. Change your community right where you are, starting today. And if you don't like that community that you're in, go find the community and the passion that's driving you and change it for the better. And that's kind of what pushes me day to day.
Wow, yeah, I mean, totally agree. Love it, live with love and passion. Super important, super critical in this day and age, and you know, that's what fuels me. I get up and I'm like, today I made 2 videos, you know, and I'm just here today hanging out. Rodney was super cool when I showed up. He didn't know who I was until maybe we talked a little bit later. Then he figured it out. But
this guy's famous.
But he was super nice, super cool, and I like to play dumb a lot of times and just ask a lot of questions, and people don't know who I am. So that's cool. But anyways, had a great time. He's a super good guy. So
come by and see me.
Rodney, last question. So if somebody wants to like support you guys and like, you know, volunteer, learn on the job, you know, send you guys some money. Do you have a website where they could facilitate that and learn about you and figure all that stuff out and all that?
Yeah, the best way, I don't do business cards, so if you want to talk to me, come by the farm. I'm here almost every day. Even on Sundays, I come by and feed the chickens, so I'm here on Sunday mornings. But our website is www.cityslickerfarms.org. And the information about volunteering, how you can support us, our programming, it's all there. You can even go to our contact form, fill out that form, press submit, and I'm going to get that email. Be patient with me. I may not answer today or tomorrow or the next day, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, I mean, he's super busy, like busier than I am, and I'm super busy already. So like we're just brothers from another mother because we're like into gardening, farming, and teaching the people of the world to make it a better place, and that's simply what we do. All right, Rodney.
And we're just doing it through food, right?
Yeah, just through food. I mean, we're all connected because we all got to eat, unless you're a breatharian. All right.
I don't know any of those.
I met a supposed one once, but I don't know. Anyways.
Check their documents.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So anyways, with that, I'll leave all the links down below so you can check out the City Slickers and volunteer. Definitely would encourage you guys to come out if you guys in the area. They do tours, so contact them if you want to come on a tour of the place, because once again, this public park here for you guys, and they got a restroom too.
Two of them.
Two of them. But yeah, if you enjoyed this episode at the City Slickers, hey, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. Also, please be sure to share this video with somebody else you know that should know about this place, this amazing place in Oakland, so they could have access to food, so they could learn how to garden on the job, literally by volunteering, or how they could get a garden put in, to their backyard. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming episodes. I have episodes coming out every 3 to 4 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning or what might inspire you in one of my episodes. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes, over 1,200 episodes now on this YouTube channel, dedicated to teaching you guys all the aspects of growing your own food at home, and as well as supporting good farms and places that I visit with experts along the way.
Expert.
Yeah. So with that, my name is John Kohler with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep on growing. All right.